The third conference for the day, UbiSoft. I have to give credit when credit is due. They certainly know how to immediately grab the attention of just about all the male geeks watching. Their press conference started off with basically dancing booth babes. Odd start, but basically they danced around for a while to various types of music and such, and then we got a wrap with them continuing to dance on stage. It was definitely a unique opening to the whole conference thing. Basically, all the dancing and stuff was to promote Just Dance 4. Which they didn't really show anything game-wise. I guess the songs and stuff that they were dancing to are in the game. I guess they did have some background screens that actually kind of showed what was going on. But really, the only big thing to come out of it is on the screen or whatever after they were done. Wii U was listed as one of the systems that is going to have it. So there you go. Confirmed Just Dance 4 is going to be for the Wii U. Now, before I get into anything more of the conference, I gotta mention the hosts. I know Ubisoft is known for not being your traditional businessman or stuff like that. It doesn't have a Jack Trent or a Reggie or it doesn't really have a known figure for that, but really this was quite odd. They were trying too hard to be something that they obviously weren't. So yeah, it definitely made things a little bit more entertaining, I guess, but in the same light, you knew that this was starting to turn into something like a really bad dinner theater or something. But anyway, enough of that. The first game that they actually showed and actually had some information on and such was Far Cry 3. Now, I kind of thought Far Cry 1 and 2 really didn't do so well. I knew a 3 was coming, of course, but I didn't know it was that big of a deal. It just still, it looks just like another first-person shooter. I really, I don't mean to harp on the FPSs alone. It's just there's so many of them out there, and they all feel very similar. I mean, the controls are virtually the same. Yeah, some may have a special gun or utility or something like that, but at the end of the day, the only real big difference is the story. And really, again, the story really isn't why most people buy this stuff. But anyway, it went through the normal rigmarole of showing a preview of what's going on and stuff like that. Like first few moments. One thing I did notice though, and I don't know if it was because this was just a alpha or whatever, but a lot of the enemy, a lot of the enemies were just clones of each other. Like recycled avatars or whatever of the enemies. Always felt like they were shooting the same guy over and over and over. So it didn't really look high professional to me, especially compared to a lot of the other first-person shooters that we had already seen up to this point. And then again, whoever's decision it was to put Splinter Cell Blacklist right after Far Cry 3. It just solidifies the difference between the two games in terms of, and I don't want to necessarily say quality, but just the more in depth of the two games. So they talked more about the Splinter Cell, and they had another kind of trailer for it though there wasn't really any new gameplay. There may have been some scattered throughout the new teaser slash trailer, but it really wasn't apparent what was kind of a cutscene versus what was gameplay. So it kind of continued on what we already knew. Nothing overly new or anything else was really told about it. Following that was another kind of waste of time with the Avengers Battle for Earth. It had a great CGI, I guess, scene of various Marvel characters, but really there's no gameplay. I don't really know what the game is all about. It could be like the Alliance game that they came out with before or not, or who knows. Kind of like with the Just Dance, the only really interesting bit of information that came out of it is Wii U was listed as a console for the game to be released on, so that's another one. Speaking of the Wii U, the next game during the conference that they went through was Rayman Legends. Now, this one's kind of an oddity for me. Origins, I've seen a ton of Rayman Origins gameplay, and it was entertaining enough for me to go out and buy it, but I haven't played it yet. There was some interesting things that came out of the Legends game. First bit was that it was up to 5 players, which was great. It's kind of new that the Wii U was going to actually support 5 players. In addition to that, it actually had the Wii Pro controller options that part of the game. So it looks like that the controller will be optional versus your typical Wiimote, or it may be a requirement. Who knows? There really wasn't a whole lot of talk. Now, one thing that I did notice that from the gameplay that they did show, one user or player was using the tablet, was it felt like you couldn't play this one player as Raymond, and you had to play it with the tablet. The level designs and everything seemed that you absolutely had to have the tablet in order to get through them, and you had to be playing as the new character as well. So a little bit more information on that would be really nice, but yeah, I'm kind of curious how that's gonna all work. After the Rayman Legends, we got introduced to another Wii U game, this one's an exclusive, Zombie U, which really there wasn't a whole lot of information told and no gameplay, just a CGI trailer. This one, the whole point of the game, I guess, is to prove the more mature level of gaming that the Wii U is going to bring forth. There has to be a pretty fine line between between mature and rated R, should I say, when it comes to the whole violence thing or whatever. But not anything was really told about it, so I got nothing to say on it. After that, we got a bit of a montage of other Wii U games that UbiSoft is going to be producing, and it was the Rabbids, the Raving Rabbids game, what looked like a shape fitness type of game, sports connection game, which just looks like a sports compilation thing or whatever. Of course, Just Dance 4 and Assassin's Creed 3. All games that we kind of already knew, except for maybe Your Shape. But anyway, no real gameplay was shown. Just more of a announcement of, hey, these are coming. And speaking of Assassin's Creed 3, we will be moving into that after the montage. and not really a whole lot was told about Assassin's Creed 3. It did take up a lot of time during the conference. A lot of gameplay was shown, a lot of features and stuff like that was shown, but really nothing overly new that we hadn't already seen before or knew that the game was going to be included on. Basically, if you liked the previous Assassin's Creed, the way that the character moved and climbed and did all that other stuff, then you're going to really like the Assassin's Creed 3. If you're a Briton and that offends you, then that might be a little bit of a problem with the game. But other than that, if you like the game, then you're going to like it. If you didn't like the previous games, then you're probably not going to like it. It's not really going to bring in any newcomers to the series, outside of those, I guess, interested in the Revolution. But it just seems like your typical Assassin's Creed game. After that, we had some sort of a weird esport competition with a new game, or not really a new game, but called Shoot Mania. It was kind of really freaky. The game is nothing. It's a cheap team-based fighter shooter game with some odd elements when it comes to competition, but nothing overly special. We got then another montage, sort of 3 other games. Trials Evolution, which looks kind of like Excite Bike on drugs, where you kind of, I guess, move around and stuff like that. It looks like you could potentially build your own tracks and stuff like that. Settlers Online, which is a browser-based game. Don't really know a whole lot about that. And then Ghost Recon Online, which was labeled as a free-to-play game, so don't really know what all that's about. All 3, it did have some gameplay footage, but there really wasn't anything told about it. It was just basically a quick montage. Now, one thing that did pop up at the end of the montage, no, not really a game-wise, but it was part of the list shown, but Beyond Good and Evil in HD. So cool. I mean, we kind of knew that was going to happen, but I guess it's confirmed. There wasn't anything shown outside of just the name, but hey, that's kind of cool. And then closing for the conference, Ubisoft kind of brought in a surprise runner, a game called Watchdog. The game actually, it looks very good. I wouldn't necessarily want to claim that it's anything great yet. The amount that we were shown in the daylight and stuff like that, really, it's kind of hard to determine if it's really super uber graphics or not, but it did look really nice. The concept being kind of like a hacker and stuff like that throughout the world was actually kind of cool. But one of the other things that was awesome was apparently there's drop-in, drop-out co-op or something like that, where other players can jump into the game. Not a whole lot was told. We were just shown a quick gameplay demo of it, and that was it. But it looked interesting. Definitely a surprise. We don't know what systems it's out for or anything else like that, but it's definitely one to keep an eye on. It definitely is. It's not going to come out this year. I doubt it's going to come out in 13. So we got some time before before we have to really have to worry too much about this one. But it definitely was a nice surprise, and it did tip the overall conference for Ubisoft into a far better light than the previous. So that is, or was, Ubisoft's press conference. Right now, at this point, or not including Sony or Nintendo, Ubisoft pretty much had the best conference in my opinion. It had the nice variety of games. The majority of they actually showed gameplay footage of. It was just an overall, it was a pretty exciting conference, minus the hosts. that needs to be retooled for next year. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, you can catch my Xbox and EA videos, and I'll be having Sony and Nintendo's up as soon as I can as well. So thanks for watching. God bless.